All right, so let's review chapter 2. Let's practice for our test. We're going to start on page 93 of your textbook. So Mia made a tally table to record the different types of birds she saw at the bird feeder in the garden. So remember, a tally table is counting some sort of item and is marked by tallies. Remember that this is a group of 5. When it looks like this, that's a group of 5. Each individual one is 1. All right, so, and I've been encouraging you to write the totals right on the tally chart. 5, 10, 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6. Okay? Mia saw twice as many sparrows as blackbirds. Twice as many blackbirds would be 6 plus 6 is 12. Did she see 12 sparrows? Yes, she did. So that is a true statement. Mia saw 8 finches. We go to the finches and we counted those as 8. Mia saw 4 fewer jays than blackbirds. So 6 take away 4 would be 2. Did she see 2 jays? No, she saw 4 jays. So that statement is false. All right, Jake asked 25 students in his class how close they lived to school. The frequency table shows the results. Okay, so we have miles to school. We have boys and girls. 4 boys live about a mile away. 5 girls live about a mile away. About 2 miles away, right now there's nothing written in for the boys. For the girls, there are 4. About 3 miles away, 3 boys live about 3 miles away, and 2 girls live about 2 miles away. All right, so he asked 25 students. He says, complete the table and explain how you found the answer. All right, so this frequency table needs to add up to 25. So I'm going to add a little column here just for myself. And 4 plus 5 is 9. Right now we have 4. And the last 2 about 3 miles away, that's 5. So let's add those up. 5 and 4 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. Okay, well, I was supposed to have 25. So 25 take away 18. I can't take 8 from 5. So I'm going to regroup the 2 tens as 1 10 and 10 ones, which gives me 15 ones. 15 take away 8 is 7. So there were 7 boys that lived about 2 miles away. So how did we find our answer? We added all the numbers in the table. And then subtracted from 25. B, part B. How many more students live about 2 miles or less from the school than students who live about 3 miles from school? Okay, so we see that word or, that means add, but we also have this phrase, how many more? So I know that this is going to be a 2-step problem. So first I have to add anybody that lives 2 or less. Okay, so we know that now there are 11 students that live about 2 miles away. 7 plus 4 is 11. And we already knew that 9 students lived about a mile away. So 9 plus 11 equals 20. So 20 students live 2 miles or less from school. 3 miles away, we have 5. So 20 take away 5 is 15. 15 more students. Okay. So what we did was we added up those students that were 2 miles away and 1 mile away. That gave us a total of 20. And then we subtracted from those that were living 5 miles away, and it gave us a total of 15. All right, page 94. Okay, students at Barnes School are performing in a play. We're going to use this picture graph for numbers 3 through 6. The picture graph shows the number of tickets each class has sold so far. So we see that our title is number of tickets sold. We have 1, 2, 3 classrooms, and we see that each check mark is 5 tickets. So I like to go ahead and figure out how many they have right as soon as I see the picture graph. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. 45 tickets were sold by Miss Brown's class. Mrs. Gold's class, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And Mr. Castro's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, how many tickets were sold altogether? Okay, well, we just added each class up. So we have 45 plus 25 plus 30. 5 and 5 is 10. 10 plus nothing is still 10. Regroup the 10 ones as 110. Now 4 plus 2 is 6. Plus 3 more is 9. So I have 9 tens plus adding the one regrouped 10 gives me 100. So we have 100 tickets sold. Now, we could have also just skip counted by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. So, either way would work. Choose the name from each box that makes the sentence true. 5 fewer tickets were sold by. So, whose class sold 5 fewer tickets than another class? Well, this one's not 5. That was a difference of 20. These two are a difference of 5. So 5 fewer tickets were sold by Mrs. Gold's class. She has fewer than Mr. Castro. How many more tickets were sold by Miss Brown's class than Mr. Castro's class? Miss Brown's class was 45. Mr. Castro's class was 30. So let's look at the word clues in our sentence. How many more? Tells me subtract. I need the numbers from Miss Brown's class, 45, and I need Mr. Castro's class, 30. So 45 take away 30. 5 take away nothing is 5 ones. 4 tenths take away 3 tenths is 1 tenth. So that's a difference of 15 tickets. Okay. What if Mrs. Gold's class sold 20 more tickets? Draw a picture to show how the graph would change. Okay. So if Mrs. Gold's class sold 20 more tickets, so we'd have number of tickets sold. We have Ms. Brown's class, Mrs. Gold's class, and Mr. Castro's class. And then our key says each check mark equals 5 tickets. Okay, so when we look at this, what if Mrs. Gold's class sold 20 more tickets? So only Mrs. Gold's class totals are going to change. Mrs. Brown's is going to stay the same. And so there were 9 check marks for Mrs. Brown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mr. Castro's class had 6 check marks. Okay, so all I did was look at the picture graph that we already had and counted up how many they already had. Mrs. Gold's class has 5 check marks right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, how many more check marks would I need to show 20? 20 more. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay. Number 7. The pet shop keeps track of the number of fish it has for sale. The frequency table shows how many fish are in 3 tanks. So we have tank 1 with 16 fish. We have tank 2 with 9 fish. We have tank 3 with 12 fish. All right. So use the data in the table to complete the picture graph. Well, first off, we need a title. So fish in tanks. We see tank 1 has 2. Each circle is worth 2 fish. Does tank 1 only have 4 fish? No, so we have to keep adding till we get to 16. We're going to skip count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Tank 2 says there are 9 fish. 2, 4, 6, 8. If I put a full circle, that's 10, right? So I'm going to have half a circle to represent 8 plus 1, 9. Tank 3 has 12 fish. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. How many pictures did you draw for tank 2? I drew 4.5 circles to represent 8 fish, and I drew 4 circles to represent 8 fish and half a circle for 1 fish. So I drew 4.5, which equals 9 fish. Okay, I drew 4 circles to represent 8 fish. I drew half a circle to represent 1. So altogether, I drew 4.5 circles, and those equaled 9 fish. Each tank can hold up to 20 fish. How many more fish can the pet shop put in the 3 tanks? Okay, so up here, we see that each of these tanks can hold 20 fish. Well, there's only 16 right now in tank 1, which means I could add 4 more fish to tank 1. Tank 2 has 9, which means I could add 11 more to tank 2. 11 plus 9 is 20. 12 plus 8 would give me 20. So how many more fish could I add to these tanks? Well, 11 and 8 is 19, and 4 more is 23. So we can add 23 more fish. The other way we could have done that is taken 60, because we know we have 3 fish tanks, and each tank can hold 20 fish. So 20, 40, 60, and then subtract how many we already do have. We have 16 plus 9 plus 12. So we have 9 plus 2 is 11, plus 6 is 17, so we have 37. So we already have 37 fish, and we're going to take that from how many can be put in the tanks. Well, I can't take 7 from nothing, so I'm going to regroup the 6 tens as 5 tens and 10 ones. 10 take away 7 is 3 ones, and 5 tens take away 3 tens is 23. So that's 2 different ways you could have done it. You could have figured out how many were needed, could be added to each of the other tanks and add that total up. Or we could have added up all the fish already in the tanks and subtracted from 60. All right, move on to number 9. 3 more students use the bar graph for numbers 9 through 12. So we're going to use this musical instrument bar graph. 3 more students play piano than which other instrument? 3 more students play piano than what other instrument? So piano, we know this is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, it's not quite to the 10. but it's past the 8, so that must be 9. And we have 3 more piano players. So 9 take away 3, 6. So we're looking for some instrument with 6. So we go to 6, and I see that it's flute. The same number of students play which 2 instruments? Well, that's easy enough. All we have to do is find which 2 bars are at the same length. Flute's not even with anything. Drums matches guitar. So drums and guitar. Now let's make sure we're not leaving anything out. Piano, does that match anything? No. Okay, so it's just that one answer. For 11A through 11D, select true or false for each statement. 10 more students play guitar than play flute. 10 more students play guitar than play flute. 10 students play guitar. 6 students play flute. So that's a difference of 4. Well, that's not true then. That's false. 9 students play piano. Yes, that's true. 6 fewer students play flute and piano combined than play drums and guitar combined. So that means add. So we're going to have to add flute and piano. Flute was 9. Piano was 9 and flute was 6. 9 plus 6 is 15. Drums and guitar were 10 plus 10, so 20. Is 15 6 fewer than 20? You should say no. It's only a difference of 5. 9 more students play piano and guitar combined than play drums. So, and now we're going to add piano and guitar. Piano was 9, guitar was 10. So 10 plus 9, 19 students play piano and guitar. Minus 10 that play the drums. 19 take away 10 is 9. 9 more students do play. That's true. There are more students who play the trumpet than play the flute. But fewer students than play the guitar. Explain how you would change the bar graph to show the number of students who play the trumpet. So what we're saying is we're going to add trumpet to our graph. So 1, we'd add a 5th bar. Okay, and it says it's more than the flute. So it's going to be longer than the flute, but smaller than the guitar. So it has to be between 7, because 7 would be more than the flute, but less than 10. Because you have to have less than the guitar. If you had 10, that would be equal to it. So it could be 7, 8, or 9. So the explanation, obviously we have to add a 5th bar. That bar will be between 7, will be more than 7, but less than 10. So it could be 7, 8, or 9. Sorry. More than 6. Let's be accurate. Okay. Karen asks students, we're going to use this frequency table for 13 and 14. Karen asks students what vegetables they would like to have in the school cafeteria. The table shows the results of her survey. So favorite vegetables. These are our vegetables. We have 4 types of vegetables being surveyed, and these are the number of students who chose each of those vegetables. Use the data in the table to complete the bar graph. First thing we have to have is a title. I'm just going to write the same title that is on my frequency table. Favorite vegetables. Okay, I see 4 lines here and I see numbers here. So these are the vegetables: broccoli, carrots, corn, and green beans. Remember, we label each side of our picture graph. So these are vegetables. Okay, and 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. And that's going to be number of votes. Okay, so broccoli has 15. So 15 isn't on my graph, but I know that 15 is halfway between 10 and 20. So I'm just going to draw a line there and draw my bar for broccoli. Carrots is 40. So we're going to go all the way to the end, out to 40, and shade that in. Corn is 20, so I find 20. My line stops there, and then we shade it in. And finally, green beans stops at 10. So we've made a picture graph, a bar graph from the frequency table. How do you know how long to make the bars on your graph? How did you show 15 votes for broccoli? Okay, so the frequency of each vegetable tells you where to stop the bar. So broccoli was 15, carrots was 40. So I had to draw my line all the way to 40 for carrots. How did you show 15 votes for broccoli? So now obviously you can explain these any way that makes sense to you as well. So how did we know where to stop for 15? Well, we stopped broccoli at 15 because while 15 is not on the bar graph, I know that 15 is halfway between 10 and 20. Okay. How many more votes the two most popular vegetables get? Two most popular vegetables get. How many more is a clue word than the two least popular? Okay, so the two most popular, that means the two largest numbers, the one that was voted for the most. And so that's 40 plus 20. And then the least popular were the ones that received the least amount of votes. So 15 and 10. 60 students chose, let's word that differently. The total for most popular vegetables was 60. 60. How did I get 60? We added 40 plus 20. The least popular total was It's 25, and we got that by doing 15 plus 10. Okay, so now how many more votes? So then 60 take away 25. 60 take away 25. I can't take 5 from nothing, so I'm going to regroup the 6 tens as 5 tens and 10 ones. 10 take away 5 is 5 ones. 5 tens take away 3 tens. 2 tens is 3 tens. So then 60 take away 25 equals 35 more votes. Okay. All right, page 98. Okay, our last section in our chapter for chapter 2 was line plots. So use the line plot for numbers 15 and 16. The line plot shows the number of goals the players on Scott's team scored. Number of goals scored. There were 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 goals scored. The X's represent the number of students that scored that many goals. So there were 2 players that scored 0 goals. There were 1, 2, 3, 4 players that scored 1. There were 3 players that scored 2 goals. 1 player scored 3 goals, and one player scored 4 goals. So now we're going to use that data to figure this out. 3 players scored 2 goals. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's true. 6 players scored fewer than 2 goals. So fewer, we're going to count everything to the left of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's true. There are 8 players on the team. Well, how many X's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, there's 11 players on the team. 5 players scored more than 1 goal. Okay, so now this time we're going to the right. Everything greater than 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 players scored more than 1 goal. What if 2 more people played and each scored 3 goals? So if 2 more players were on the team, we would now, so describe what the line plot would look like. Everything would stay the same, except there would now be how many above 3? So there would be 3 X's above 3. Robin collects number 17 and 18. Robin collected shells during her vacation. She measured the length of each shell to the nearest inch and recorded the data in a plot. So it says the length of the shells in inches. So there was a shell that was 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches, 9 inches. So these 3 X's have to tell me that there were 3 shells that were 5 inches. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shells that were 6 inches. There were 2 shells that were 7 inches. There was 1 shell that was 8 inches, and 1, 2, 3 shells that were 9 inches. So how many shells were 6 inches or longer? 6 inches or longer. So I can include 6. So I'm going to add up all of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 shells at a length of 6 or more. How many more shells did Robin collect that were 5 inches long, then 8 inches long? 5 inches was 3. 8, there was 1. 3 take away 1 is simply 2. So that's it for Chapter 2's review. You will now have a practice test on Go Math online. You'll have a post-test after your online practice test. So use the video to help answer the online questions if needed. The online questions are going to be very similar to the ones we just completed in our math book. And also definitely have your math book out to help you. If you have any questions, you can stop and ask me. But until then, good luck on your review.